There it is.
Here we go. Okay, go ahead.
Hello and welcome to the Tech Sherpa Show, episode number 53. Today is Tuesday, September 9th, and my name is Matt.
And I'm Kern, and we want to remind everyone, if there are questions not addressed in today's show, please visit techsherpas.org, and we'll answer them next week.
Thanks for all your questions, and you can find all of our previous shows at archives.techsherpas.org.
This week we're going to talk with Ethan Porter, and he was actually a student many moons ago here at Nokomis, which is the school that I work at, RSU 19. Welcome, Ethan.
Hi.
And he's now working at Jackson Laboratory, and he was contacted me. We were interested in having discussion about getting more students interested in programming kind of across the state. So I know you're doing some work with Project Login. Tell us about that.
So Project Login is an initiative in Maine. It's the Department of Education as well as multiple private businesses and the University of Maine system. And what they do is they try to get students interested in careers in tech and sort of spread some information about that. And they also, many of the sponsors and also just other private businesses post internships on their website. So they try to connect the students with these businesses, because the businesses, what they claim is that there is a high number of jobs available and growing in Maine, mostly in the Portland area, but also elsewhere, and they need people to fill them.
Interesting. So what are they looking for the people? Like, what kind of skill set are they looking specifically for?
So there's a lot of programming, but then there's also a lot more. There's desktop support, networking people, and really, I think a lot of people would be surprised to find out, and I was surprised to find out when I started working at the lab, how varied tech jobs actually are. I'd be sitting in my cubicle, and somebody a few cubicles over, has an entirely different skill set. I don't know anything about what they're doing. They don't know anything about what I'm doing, but we need it all to work together.
All right, interesting. So there's really more demand than there is supply right now as far as workers and that kind of thing, it sounds like.
I think on a national level in Maine, but also on a national level, that's true.
Wow. So how is this, as a job, as a profession, kind of compared to other professions? Do you think it's a good job, good profession, bad or indifferent? What do you think?
Well, it's interesting for myself, because when I left Nokomis, I first studied industrial design for 2 years, it's product design. It's like architecture. And after 2 years, I switched into computer science. But I've also been a landscaper, so I've done a few different things. And what I always tell people is there's nothing wrong with any job so long as you want to do it.
Right.
If you're doing it because you don't have a choice and you'd rather not be doing it, that's when it's a problem. So when I worked in landscaping, my coworkers, they absolutely, that it's what they wanted to do.
Right.
And they enjoy it, and there's totally nothing wrong with that. But if you end up doing that because you don't know what else to do, that's a problem. And so I think for myself, coding specifically, it's something that is very much a self-taught skill. Even if you do go to school for it, there's a real self-taught element. And so there's sort of a sense where you're kind of raising yourself up to be able to do a job.
Cool. So you talk about self-taught. I imagine nowadays, there's a lot of resources available for somebody who is interested in doing this.
Yep. A big one I would direct people towards if they're interested in the first time is it's just code.org. And they have a lot of tutorials there. They do something called Hour of Code, where basically you spend an hour trying out code. It's endorsed by a lot of famous people and basketball players and singers, and they have all that on their website. Then there's also codeacademy.org. Or I'm not sure if that's .org or .com, but it's Code Academy. If you Google it, it'll come up. And that's geared specifically towards teaching you how to program. And then there's also Khan Academy, which a lot of people use for math or other topics, but they've got that one's really good if you're interested in web development. They've got JavaScript and that sort of thing. So, but also if you just go on the projectlogin.com website, then they have links to several of those places as well.
Now, is that kind of like, it sounds like that's one of your interests now, is to kind of promote this for students statewide or beyond or whatever. That's kind of where your thing is now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it started. I started to think about it. We were in an IT department-wide building meeting, which has a lot of people there, and the CIO was talking about upper management wanting the IT department specifically to do more for the community. And so I thought, wouldn't it be great, because I already knew about Project Login. The Jackson Lab actually posts internships on there. So I said, wouldn't it be great if not only we promoted Project Login, but also, I told the HR people, I said, I'd like to talk to my old high school and try to get
Yeah.
students to try code. So.
Yeah, very fun. Now, we have one student here that's interested in coding. Is that true?
Yep. Actually, there's a program at my school called Tri-County, and that's a program where we can choose, and we go there every other day. What I'm doing is computer systems repair, and the teacher there is planning to transition to coding over the years. And basically, we're starting very slow with it, and next month we're going to be starting with that. So it's that's what I'm going to be doing coming up here soon. And I also, like you mentioned earlier, Code Academy. I've played around with that a little bit, and I do really enjoy it. Something that put a lot of time into, and see results.
Oh,
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know what kind of language they start you off with, but I think Code Academy has something with Python, which I think is a great first language. And there are actually a ton of jobs out there where all you need to know is Python to get the job. So I know Google does a lot of work with Python.
yep.
So.
Yeah, and that's one of the interesting things too. Is a lot of these sites are really geared towards kind of, like you mentioned earlier, is self-teaching. Like you start out here and it works you through, and you're really kind of increasing your own abilities as you go, which is really an interesting model, and it makes sense, especially in the computer realm, because you have to figure out so much stuff as you go anyway, like all the time. So.
Yeah, another website I guess I'd mention for somebody that maybe has already done a little coding, if you're just kind of looking for a sandbox, it's repl.it, and it's basically it's just a website where they have I think they got like 12 languages now, and it's just an input, and you type the language and you click run, and you type a little program, you click run, and it's kind of a great sandbox tool. You can't break anything in there. So.
Wow. Well, that's one of the things I liked about Code Academy is as you go, you're actually seeing your results. And it's interesting. You look at some of the new language, like the one that Apple's come out with this last year, and how they're actually doing that. They're actually showing you the code as you're going, so you really have that real-time, build. You don't have to worry about compiling or all that kind of stuff, like setting up afterward. It's a whole different world there. Oh, cool. Well, so Ethan, what's next? What do you think? Promoting this more, not only for our district or our schools, but even statewide. Is that kind of like, I know Project Login has a lot of different things they do. I know they're running a whole day in December at the Lego Institute, which happened in Augusta. So things like that.
Yeah, well, I definitely like to talk to them and the university about what I've been doing so far, and maybe bring a lot of forces together, I guess, to promote this.
Yeah, most definitely. Definitely, all good stuff, all fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we'll keep in touch.
Okay, thank you.
Take care. All right. So we do have one final piece today, and this is from a viewer who asked us, let's see, where's the question here real quickly, from Sheila. How do I forward my Gmail account to another email account? So she has one account, she wants to forward another one. I'm actually going to hand it off to Matt, let him do this one. Let me do a screen share here.
Right, so if you're interested in forwarding your email address to another one, let's say you just set up another one and you don't want to use your old one, the quickest way I would suggest to do that would be just go over to this gear, and in settings, they actually have this tab as soon as it loads. It says forwarding and POP/IMAP. But the first thing you see here is forwarding. It's the very first header. And here you can just enter your new email address. Let's say you enter that. Click next. It says it's not valid, but if you were to enter that, let's say, yeah, we're gonna get another one in here real quick. Basically, what this is going to do is it's going to send a verification code to this email that shows now. You're just going to need to head over to it and confirm it. Yeah, you can see here confirmation code. And once you confirm that code, all your mail will be then forwarded to your new email.
Turn back off. All right. So that is it. We will see you next time. Let's pull up our kind of outro here. Thanks to.
So,
yeah, you want to do the phone? Yeah.
Thanks to everybody who joined us today, and we hope to see you next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when we'll answer more of your questions.
And don't forget to submit those questions at techsherpas.org. See you next time.